Pizza was all in the back. McDonald's from yesterday. That was our pre-prepared food. You know how they be food already in the oven when the show started. It'd be like it's magic of television. It'd be like the crew from last night.
The crew from last night.
They cook the food first and they put it in the oven, and then when they get on TV, it'd be like the magic. Never mind. Today we're talking about the prodigal son. Let's say the other one. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Say good morning. You gotta say good morning to the people.
Good morning.
It's okay. Facebook knows that you're not their friend. You're my friend. What'd you say? Don't come getting smart with my people. My people are good people. All right. Good morning, everybody. Today is a day that the Lord has made. It's Monday. It's Monday. So we're gonna do Bible dedication, Bible motivation, Bible dissertation, Bible devotion. Today's inspirational motivational word is coming from the story of the prodigal son. You said perspective that you wanted to come from was how the daddy was so forgiving. Sorry. All right. You ever see me okay?
We could talk about the entire story. I prefer going over the story, but that's what sticks out from this season.
Forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
The forgiveness.
Yeah. You let him come back up with him. You didn't hold any grudge against him. You didn't hate him.
You know, I look at that story. The prodigal son goes that there was a wealthy man who had two sons. It says they came to him one day and said to him, "Daddy, divide your wealth amongst us so that we can so that we can have what belongs to us." Now, that part is significant. Just, put a pin right there for a second, and we'll come back to that. He said, divided amongst us so that we can have what's owed to us. It says that he gave both of his sons, their portion. And one of them decided that he would leave home and live a riotous life that is balling on no budget. So he goes and then finds himself in a bad season. The Bible says he found himself in a famine. And when all of his wealth had run out for living above and beyond his means, it says that he found himself looking for a job. He caught one. He secured employment at a pig farm. It was one day that I guess he was hungry and found himself eating the same food that the pigs did. The Bible says when he thought to himself, he came to himself and said, "Self," and I imagine himself answered, and he said, "My father's servants live better than this. If I just go back to my father's house, I know I can at least have food to eat."
Do you think he doubted?
Hmm?
Do you think he doubted?
Doubted? Well, he said it to himself, so I don't think he doubted it. So he went on the way home, and it says, afar off, the father saw him coming, ran to him, fell on his knees, and said, Son, my son who was once dead is now alive. Rejoice with me. He said the servant who was there with him, he called him and told him to cook the biggest lamb or sheep or whatever it was. They would have a feast that day. Problem in the text is that the older brother, the one who also got his share, was jealous. He said, Daddy, you ain't never did this for me. We ain't never had a family gathering for anything that I've done, but you do it for him. He said he was dead. He was dead to me, dead to you. He was dead to himself. He said, but now he's alive. You will have everything that I have, but my son has come home. And so I needed to do something with my glasses, but I wasn't sure, so I just take them off. Not put them on. It didn't matter. He came home. You know what I think about in that story? I think about the brother. You think about the brother?
Mm-hmm.
Did you? I think about the part of the story that's not really preached about. The part of the story that's like looked at bad, but we're on the outside. But so is the brother. Now notice the daddy said, I'll divide it amongst both of you. But they asked him for it. When you're dividing somebody's wealth, it's normally at the reading of the will at the funeral. The nerve of people to come and to tell you you're better off dead and what you had is worth more value than what your life was instead. They said to him, we'd rather you be dead. Because we find profit in what you have, but not profit in who you are. We'd rather you be dead. And for somebody, the enemy has counted you beyond dead today. Didn't think you would get up, didn't think you would survive it, didn't think you'd get through the night. And we come to you on Monday, and somebody would rather have it than to have you. And you got to be able to look at people and define for them what God has determined, said, what God has placed over you. I didn't come here to die. I didn't come here. I was brought here. Sister, they came and persuaded, told, we want the money. Don't care nothing about the daddy. So one left and the brother stayed home. One of them left and one stayed home. We know the story of the one who left, but we don't know the story of the one who stayed.
Does it talk about it?
It doesn't. But he didn't have to show up and tell his story because I could tell his story because I was one of the ones that stayed. Just stayed and you take care of mama. Stayed and you take care of the stuff that everybody else runs away from. You stayed. Stayed and got good grades in school, didn't drop out, didn't get pregnant in high school. You stayed. Those are people who don't get the spotlight. They don't get the shining light. When you do good things, it's expected. When they do good things, it's celebrated. It's a difference between the two. It's the one that stayed. You can often be overlooked and overshadowed, but don't take somebody else's accomplishment as I think as a deterrent for you to still strive to more. It's God expects more from you. That's why less praise comes to you when you do something. It's expected of you to do great. And when people sharpen their pencils, they get surprises. It's because they're expected to fail. You got to know that the word he spoke over your life is that you would not fail, but that you would in all of your life, you'd excel. Don't keep expecting people to admonish you every single step of the way. You're expected to win. We got to stop accepting defeat saying that that's like the attack of the enemy. When God spoke over you, I expect for you to win. I expect for you to come out. I expect for you not to leave and stay faithful. And we want to get clapped and we want to get like a parade. Say, this is what's expected from you. And I think that becomes the difficult part of the story where it's expected but not acknowledged. As the brother comes home after thinking to himself, my daddy's servants live better than this. I think that becomes the contingent convergent. That's where the story changes for me. We see him as like arrogant up until this point where he's eating what the pigs ate. Then there's a mindset change. And then he's not arrogant anymore, he's humble. But I'd rather be a servant in the house of the Lord than to dwell in the tents of evil man's one day. Because I'd rather be a servant, a doorkeeper. I'd rather be a floor sweeper. As long as I'm in the house, I know I'm going to eat. And for somebody, that's word enough all by itself. That the prodigal may have left. You ever had a prodigal leave? Somebody who had promise on them, but couldn't see it. So you developed the wealth that was inside of them, and they found no value. It's the prodigal. That word relates to everything that's stably unstable. That word relates to is consistently inconsistent. That word relates to everything that's breakable, broken. He has it over his life that he's spoken never to accomplish anything, but he comes to his right mind. And somewhere you have to say to yourself that this ain't it. You hear me? Yeah. Y'all excuse my belt being so high. He said, you gotta say to yourself, this ain't it. And I'm tired of looking at it, saying it ain't gonna be better. I'm tired of playing me, like God ain't have his hand and his grace on me. This ain't it. So I'd rather be a servant in my Father's house, because I know he'll take care of me. You hear me? He'll take care of you. You got to begin to speak that over yourself. I may not have everything that I want, but I know God will take care of all of my needs. It may not look like what I want it to look like. I may not see it in every single way I've said it, but I know God will take care of me. And for somebody that's good enough by itself, for somebody that's a motivational word on a Monday, for somebody that's enough elevation to push you through the rest of the week that I know God gonna take care of it. It don't matter what I look at, how it smells. It don't matter what it sounds like. I know God gonna take care of it. I may not have enough to pay for it, but God gonna take care of it. And you gotta come to yourself. That's what it says when he came to his right mind. Right mind. He was going left the entire time, but somewhere there was a rightness that pulled on his spirit that said, come to your right. You can do better than this. But it's in the Father's house. God, keep bringing me to your house. And I don't think that's like a physical place. I think that's a spiritual but mental place. In your mind, when you're driving in the car, can you still worship in his house? When you wake up and you're getting in the shower and it's a rush to get through the day, can you still be in the house while you're on the job? Can you be in his house when you're in a crowded elevator? Can you be in his house when you're in your apartment? You find yourself in God's house. God, I know you're going to take care of it. So instead of me praying about it, I just thank you for it. And watch it. As soon as he takes a step, the daddy sees him. You catch that? It says while he was afar off. Now there's no break in the text from when he came to his mind in the pig's pen and when the daddy saw him afar off. All you got to do is signal the thought. The God, I believe. I believe you to show up, and then God bring you the rest of the way. I know that to be real, though. When you believe the power so much, God, I don't doubt it. I just unction it. I just start moving in the direction of it. Everything don't take a 30-hour fast and prayer session. Every time you ain't got to go to prayer meeting for what? Some stuff that I just believe, so I step out and walk on it. God, I believe you to meet me the rest of the way. I believe you to create a way where there wasn't one. I don't blaze trails on my own. I go after he leads me. That's the road you begin to like travel on. And it says the daddy saw him. He saw him. And he's not mad. You hear that? God ain't mad. Where we get that from, that God is upset or disappointed, God feels some kind of way that you done like backslid or whatever. He's not mad, but he runs to him. I think God does just that for us. He's not mad at you. He loves that you have come to your right mind and know that you are a child of the King. Some battles you shouldn't fight, some wars you shouldn't wage, and some employers you shouldn't work for. But this is what I'm doing for you. The minute you step out, that's when I'm going to step in. And the brother said, "This no good nigga. How he gonna get everything that I saw, but never was prepared for me?" Is what the daddy told him. You've been here. You grew here. But your brother is new here. There's people who've been on it longer. They won't get further than what when God brings you to it. You don't need the education. You don't need the skills. You don't need the background. You can have a messed up whatever. When God ordains for you to be in it, he says he'll provide for you a way to be celebrated, promoted, and still go above people who look down at you, hate you, who smile in your face, but they really don't like you, but can't do nothing about it. He says, this is what I'm doing for you. When you can come, and I'll bring you the rest of the way. I make every hater shut up today. Every time that the enemy said you couldn't, I show up and prove to him that you could. He says, why would he get it? And sometimes you have to understand that God will put you in a place of just preparing the road for somebody else. You know that? It's not always your assignment to be celebrated. Sometimes it's your assignment to sweep the floor so somebody else can be celebrated. God didn't always call you to be under the spotlight or this to always be your show. Sometimes you got to set up the lights and move out the way so somebody else can have the show. He says, son, you've been with me. This is not for you. When I die, what's coming for me, that's for you. That's why I close it. I'm done for the day. I look forward to the day that I get everything that God has for me. But until then, stay humble. Until then, stay under the radar. Until then, stay lowly, but still be a willing servant. God, I know it ain't about me and it can't be. But I'm just waiting for everything you got for me. So start celebrating for people who get it today. It may not be yours tomorrow, but it's coming. It's coming. I don't know when, I don't know how. I don't know where it's going, but I know it's coming. You gotta hold on. Don't be jealous. Don't get bitter. Get mad at it because everybody else has it. If your neighbor gets it, that means he's in the neighborhood. That's it. No, God was still leading the prodigal son home. Both of them. One left in his body, the other one left in his mind. Lost it.
Does the Bible say what their names are?
Um, Prodigal and brother. No, it doesn't say what the names were. But I would assume it is prodigal and brother.